Hey everyone, I am back again with some exciting news about the upcoming coronation of King Charles in Britain. Buckingham Palace has recently announced that the King and his wife Camilla will be travelling to and from their coronation in the Britain's oldest and newest royal carriages. Charles will be crowned at London's Westminster Abbey on May 6 in a ceremony full of pomp and pageantry with traditions dating back 1000 years. The palace has been slowly releasing details of the event, which is said to have a few differences from that of Queen Elizabeth in 1953, most notably in its scale, reflecting the modern age and the current cost of living crisis. The Diamond Jubilee Coach, built to commemorate Queen Elizabeth's 60th year on the throne, will take the couple from Buckingham Palace to the Westminster Abbey.
Well, it's the first time that this carriage has been used at a coronation. It was delivered to Queen Elizabeth II in 2014 and used for the state opening of Parliament that year and on a few occasions subsequently. But of course, therefore, it's never had the chance to be used in such a historic and important occasion.
This carriage's interior includes samples of objects taken from historic buildings and places, while on top sits a gilded crown carved from oak from HMS Victory.
The interior is inlaid with specimen woods from places such as Balmoral Castle, from Osborne House on the Isle of Wight, the Palace of Holyrood House in Edinburgh, but also from places and people associated with British and world history. There's a fragment of Florence Nightingale's dress, for example. I think what's really extraordinary when it's on the move is that it's actually really tall. It's significantly taller than any car on the road today, and it has this huge gold crown on the top, amazingly carved with oak from HMS Victory, one of the Royal Navy's 18th century flagships. And it's incredibly exciting, this gold coach carrying the sovereign, beautifully lit inside, so that they can be seen by the crowds on Coronation Day.
After the service, the couple will return in coronation procession, where they will travel in the gold state coach. This magnificent coach has been used at every coronation since William IV's in 1831 and was first used by George III to travel to the state opening of Parliament in 1762, when he was still King of Britain's American colonies. It's 70 meters long, 3.6 meters tall and weighs 4 tons, needing 8 horses to pull it.
This coach will be the centrepiece of the much larger and longer procession from Westminster Abbey back to Buckingham Palace on Coronation Day. The coach is huge, you might be able to tell that from how I'm standing beside it. It's nearly 4 metres tall, it's over 7 metres long, it weighs 4 tonnes. Because of that, it can only be used at a walking pace, which really adds to the majesty and the stateliness of this great royal procession. It's the second oldest working coach in this country. It was built in 1762, which makes it an incredibly old working coach in the world. There are very few monarchies which have retained coaches working of this age, and therefore it's an incredibly special thing to see, really harking back to a couple of centuries earlier, a world we probably can't imagine today of carriages and horses on the streets. Well, I think one of the most important things is it's really tall, so it's relatively easy to be seen in a procession from a really crowded street. I'd be telling them about the amazing gilded wood, these carved figures of tritons, these classical figures which proclaim the arrival of the sovereign. And unfortunately, because they're slightly lower down, it's covered in painted panels, works on canvas that exemplify what the sovereign in 1762, George III, believed that he would bring to his nation. So protecting the arts such as architecture and sculpture, protecting peace in this nation. There's figures of Mars and Minerva, the classical gods of war, but they're not at war, they're actually holding the British crown aloft. So there's lots of messages and symbolism in the coach, and we could go on for hours perhaps about it, but we really don't have time. When it passes you in the street, you'll just have this glimpse of gold with the sovereign travelling inside.
The coronation procession, which while much larger in size than their journey to the Abbey, will be about a third of the 7.2 kilometer route taken by Elizabeth when millions thronged the streets of London to watch. In a documentary aired in 2018, Elizabeth described her journey from Buckingham Palace to the Abbey in the coach as horrible, saying it was not very comfortable.
Obviously, because of the horses, you've got to, when you get on that position, you've got to be the person in charge, and you've got to show the control to show the horses we're okay and we've got this, and it's all one big team effort. So we've got 8 horses which will be strapped to the gold coach, 4 postilions and walking grooms all the way around, and we're all there to make sure that the King gets there safely and returns safely.
It's quite difficult to get it out of here. Obviously it was not designed to fit in here, so we have to take down a window and the part of the wall to get the actual vehicle out. But with the amount of staff that we got, it's quite easy to push it out.
On a more modern note, Buckingham Palace has also announced a new emoji based on the historic St. Edward's crown, which will be placed on Charles' head during the service. Exciting times are ahead for Britain as they prepare for their new king's coronation. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more updates. Thank you.